Hello YouTube, bringing you another reptile video here. I'm going to tell you and do a care video slash cage setup on a veiled chameleon. Panther chameleons and veiled chameleons are pretty alike but require a bigger cage, so yeah. But first thing I have to say is a chameleon is not for beginners. This cannot be your first reptile. I would look into leopard gecko, bearded dragon, any of those reptiles that if you ask the average person about, they'll know. So this requires, I'd probably have one or two reptiles at least before owning one of these. I think I had 5. So yeah, you need to make sure you have the time to spray the tank down and make sure the basking spot isn't too hot. But so here I'm gonna show you the chameleon. Sorry about that, my finger got in the way of my camera. That's the chameleon Apollo. He's sitting on the pot for his plant, but they like to have a live plant because they eat it sometimes. You need to spray them down and keep the humidity high. It doesn't need to be really high. With a veiled chameleon and a panther chameleon, you can keep it at lowest 50. A lot of care sheiks say they have to be in the 70s or something. That's extremely hard to do with a screen tank, so I would just keep it around 50 as long as they have water to drink from by spraying down the cage. They're fine. I would recommend a feeding bowl right there, and you don't need a water dish, but I would just have one because if he ever does get thirsty, it's there. The live plant, a lot of foliage. They like to hide. A basking spot. I would recommend just going and getting a mercury vapor bulb because although they're super expensive, they're a lot better because when the reptile basks, it's usually going to be under the basking light. So if you can have a basking light that gives out UVB and UVA in the same space, then I would get one. I have a 120 watt with a 75 watt night bulb in the back. The basking spot should be around 90 degrees ambient room temperature, so around, well, the rest of his cage, so like down at the bottom where he is right now should be around maybe 70, 68 the lowest, to 72, 75. So just room temperature, which is comfortable for us. They eat. Mine eats just about anything. If I put dubia roaches, he'll eat it. If I put crickets, he'll eat it. I think I don't know, he hasn't eaten an earthworm, but he's eaten superworms, mealworms, and waxworms just because when I got him he was super thin, so I was trying to fatten him up. They need their cage size. The smallest I would ever put, the smallest you can put a veiled chameleon in would be a 18 by 18 by 36. That's 18 wide, 18 deep, and 36 tall. But I recommend 24 inches wide, 24 inches deep, and 4 foot tall. It just provides a lot more space and allows the temperature difference to really fluctuate and change, so that if he wants to get cooler, he can go down there, and then he's got another like 3 or 4 feet until he gets up to the basking spot. So I would recommend that. I would try not to do really bright colors. I try and stick with green because chameleons can get they'd get annoyed and angry. I found mine has at the color red, and I think it was bright blue. I got plants from the dollar store just because his tank had like nothing in it. Put them in there, and he didn't really like it. He'd get pissed, and I didn't know why he was getting pissed. I just thought it was because I would be in the room, and so I said, okay, whatever, he'll get used to it. But I then found out after redoing his cage that it was the plants. So I would try and stick with green. As you can tell, my tank looks pretty good. This is like more of like a jungly theme. I would definitely put vines. I have floor space, and they don't use it, but I have that plant in the shape of a hide. Just if he ever wants to get down there and hide, he can. But from the basking spot, he can either climb down the screen tank, which they prefer to have screen tanks because it allows better airflow. But there's a, yeah, you can see it right there. There's another vine going down to there. So, I don't think I missed on anything. Please don't get one. Don't just say, oh, they look cool, I'm gonna get it. Make sure you do your research. It took me over a year to finally trust myself enough to get a chameleon. I was gonna wait longer, but when I saw this guy on Craigslist, like literally being starved, I just had to pick him up. I was talking to the guy and he said that he wasn't feeding him anymore because he didn't want to go to the store and buy crickets. He was just hoping somebody would buy him as soon as possible. So luckily I was able to convince my mom to let me get him. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If I left anything out or you guys have any other additional questions because I didn't explain enough on something, leave it in the comment section below. Also to the people checking out this video because I posted yesterday in my reptile room. I'm sorry, when I went fishing I only caught around 2 fish and it just wasn't exciting, so I'm gonna go again and try and catch something. But thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.